Just 2 weeks after January 6th, an incredibly poignant and powerful moment, 22-year-old Amanda Gorman stood up at President Biden's inauguration and read one of her poems.
We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens, but one thing is certain. If we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright.
That poem, The Hill We Climb, is now banned for elementary classes at a school in Miami-Dade after one parent, just a single parent, complained the poem was not educational and had, I quote directly, indirectly hate messages. That his purpose was to cause confusion and indoctrinate students. That one complaint was enough for the school to ban elementary school kids from reading that poem by the first ever National Youth Poet Laureate and the youngest ever inaugural poet. And that was made possible by one man and his, facilitators in the legislature, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Tonight, Amanda Gorman has responded to the ban saying, quote, "I am gutted. I wrote The Hill We Climb so that all young people could see themselves in a historical moment. Robbing children of the chance to find their voices in literature is a violation of their right to free thought and free speech." She also urged people to speak out, pointing to a lawsuit her publisher has joined along with PEN America and others against another Florida school district in Escambia County that has banned books. I'm joined now by Suzanne Nocelle. She's the CEO of PEN America, and Lindsay Durchie, who has two children in that district and is also a plaintiff in the suit. It's good to have you both here. Let me start with you, Suzanne, just in terms of level setting on these book bans and why they're happening in Florida. There's a little bit of a ambiguity here, right? They pass a law that essentially routinizes parental complaints as a means of getting books removed, but then the state doesn't have to sort of take credit for it happening. How does it actually happen, and what's the contestation of your lawsuit?
Sure. Look, there are two laws in Florida, what we call the Don't Say Gay law, the law that prohibits discussion of LGBTQ topics in schools, and then a law that does similarly when it comes to discussions about race that are contentious, that could make somebody feel perhaps guilty about their race. And what those two laws have done is create an enabling environment for book banning. And in many districts, as you say, it takes only a single individual, does not necessarily even have to be a parent, to lodge an objection. I mean, that objection to Amanda Gorman's book is illustrative. It's a few lines just scribbled out. The person clearly hasn't read the poem. They don't give any detail. And that is enough to get a book pulled from the shelves for a review process that can go on for months and months, denying kids the book. In Escambia, it's particularly egregious because there is a review panel of educators and librarians who look at these books, but time and again, the school board's overridden them. They've decided, look, these books have merit, they belong in the classroom, there's value here that the kids could derive, and the school board says, no, these are contentious. We think we can score political or ideological points by whisking these books away, and that's what they've done.
Lindsay, you're a parent in Escambia County. Why did you choose to join this lawsuit?
Well, Chris, restricted access to information and viewpoint censorship violates our students' First Amendment rights. And I think there are so many teachers and parents that just don't feel safe speaking up against it. So I thought it was time that I say something.
Have you had experience firsthand, in terms of your kids' schools or in terms of other parents lodging complaints for books? Has this energized what seems to me a relatively small group of obsessives who want to file complaints about books? But have you seen this firsthand in Escambia County where your kids go to school?
100%. Yes. Primarily at, school board meetings and moments where we're talking about the books that these committees have reviewed, like Suzanne said.
Suzanne, what is the contention? I mean, Lindsay just said this about sort of First Amendment rights. What's the substance of the lawsuit?
It's twofold, First Amendment and 14th Amendment. The First Amendment aspect is that what these districts are doing, what Escambia is doing, is picking and choosing on ideological grounds which books are going to be taken off shelves. That's viewpoint-based discrimination. It strikes right at the heart of what the First Amendment protects against and bars government for doing. So that's piece one. The second piece is 14th Amendment. Overwhelmingly, the targeted books are books by and about authors of color, LGBTQ narratives. And so it's quite clear there's a discriminatory purpose. They're trying to eradicate certain stories, certain individuals from the curriculum. And that's discriminatory. And that violates kids' right to an equal education. And so we're bringing both claims and trying to vindicate both sets of constitutional rights.
Lindsay, there was this amazing Washington Post reporting. This is looking at from 30,000 feet from nationally. An analysis of book challenges from across the nation shows the majority were filed by, and this is not a typo, just 11 people. So there's people that are really into this. But I do wonder, I guess the perception we end up having is that, DeSantis did this, but he won a resounding reelection. He's popular in Florida. This is what parents want. I'm just curious, to the extent there's conversation around the soccer field or at PTA, what your sense of the popularity or unpopularity of this is?
So I've gotten nothing but positive feedback from our community. Surprisingly, I've not gotten a lot of negative feedback at all. But I think that our district policy manual clearly says that it's our school's responsibility, our public school's responsibility, to provide a comprehensive collection of books that foster respect for diversity and cultural appreciation. And so I understand that it's not going to resonate with everyone, but it does resonate with most people.
You know, Lindsay, I'm a parent of 3 school-age children myself, and I see people make this argument that parents should be the ones to decide what's in a kid's school library. And I'm like, what, you want me to go through a list of 200 books? I can't do that. What, every parent in the school? Do you think it's a good idea to have one parent to exercise veto power over books in schools?
Well, of course not. And, to quote Jodi Picoult, there's absolutely nothing wrong with a parent deciding a certain book's not right for their child. But there's a colossal problem with a parent deciding, therefore, that no child should be able to read that book.
This has been filed, I believe, in federal court. Is that right?
That's right.
There is, it seems, there's the legal aspect and the cultural aspect, which Penn, I think, is uniquely sort of situated. Sometimes I wonder, are we in the grips of a panic? Are we in the grips of a panic about the panic? Are there a lot of books really being banned? It does seem like the numbers bear this out. What is your sense of where we are sort of culturally in terms of this kind of censoriousness that we're seeing?
Look, I think Lindsay's right that the overwhelming majority of Americans don't like book bans.
Yeah.
It runs counter to our basic notions of our freedom to speak, freedom to read. And so it's a question of mobilizing people. I think there's an effort here to play to a very particular constituency. And
well, the 11 people.
Yes,
the 11 righteous
yes.
book banners.
Right. And I think, there's an election on the horizon. And I think there's a notion that certain people can get energized and motivated by this. And they're going to play to that segment and rile them up. And it's up to us to mobilize the rest, the majority. Yeah. This is about parents' rights indeed. It's not the rights of those 11 parents. It's the rights of the millions of parents whose kids' access is at stake.